Hey everyone, just testing that you can hear me okay. I'm going to get started pretty quickly here, give some people some time to join. So primarily going to be going over a bunch of altcoins. Do a little review of Bitcoin as
Hey
well.
everyone, just testing in that you can hear me okay.
Oh, I
Gonna
am
get started.
hearing myself. Well, I have the stream open so I can tell that you can hear me okay because I can hear myself. Yeah, so earlier today I was going over some Bitcoin analysis with the members, and we're looking at a bunch of different ideas, high time frame and low time frame. Let's hide these alerts. And we just came to one of the key levels I'd mentioned locally. It's just this local golden pocket. Getting a nice bounce off of it. It's also aligned fairly close to a trend line here. You have to go to the lower time frame to see that we didn't cross through it. But yeah, these golden pockets, this one's pulled from this pivot, it's always going to be a key level. So the idea I had earlier is that we have a point of control around here. This golden pocket, we could see price come down and rally off this. And there's also big support down here, which is some high level, high time frame, high volume areas. Off a volume profile, I'll just show that real quick as we wait to get into altcoins. So it's the point of control from here, or high volume area from here. Yeah, and so we have another point of control up here, which is relevant. But anyways, I also was going over some Elliott wave ideas and other things. But I have a big list of altcoins to go through. I wrote them all down here. There's some that I'm not going to do, which are like low caps that aren't really traded on big exchanges or don't have like almost any price history. So we'll probably just start with some of the bigger projects that more people would be interested in, and then work our way down. I'm going to do everything live, so I'm not going to use old analysis. I'm going to recreate all the analysis. I'm going to go through it quite quickly. Okay, so one person's saying the audio is perfect, and another person is saying the audio isn't great. So before I get started, I'll just make sure I sort out that issue. um, I can do some things with the audio maybe. I moved the mic closer. So when you say it's not great, do you mean it's distorted, it's quiet, it's too loud? Um, just make sure we get that sorted out before I go through and do a bunch of analysis. I'll wait for some responses here. Okay, well we have two audios is good, so maybe I'll just run with that. Let's start on FTM. Audio and resolution are good. Okay, perfect. Well, I'll just go ahead and hopefully it all works out. So, if you followed me on Twitter for a while, in this region, I was noticing a lot of weakness on FTM. Obviously, we have these lower highs, and thinking that it was likely we'd have a big projection. See the lows here. So, there's a couple interesting things about FTM I've noticed. One is we have a very nice parallel descending channel here. Works best pulled from here, which we did get quite a nice bounce off of the bottom of it. And I have some lower targets on FTM, but I did share this as a possible long opportunity at the time. I just reading the comments. I have everything maxed on volume, so there might be some additional settings I need to learn to make it louder, but as far as I know, it's as loud as it can go. But anyways, so I had some lower targets, but I did mention in, I think just the members chat, or members group, maybe I mentioned it publicly, that there's a chance we just get a nice bounce off of, even just an intermediary bounce off the bottom of this descending channel, because it's a nice level. I really like parallel channels. But another thing I noticed is that if we use a trend-based fib extension, we, from this high to this low to this high, so I'll just point out with my mouth, high, low, high. Trend-based fib extensions get pulled from 3 points. This was also the 1-to-1 extension, which is a big level. Not likely we hit the 1.618 because that's in the negative territory. So we had this nice overlap between the bottom of this descending channel and the 1-to-1 fib extension. Very nice support level. I'll show you some of my targets otherwise. Want to point out that this rejection from this high to this low, this rejection came at the top of this channel and the golden pocket, which I did short that. And so here, our major local resistance is the middle of this channel. And we do have some fib levels. We can pull them this way, which is the golden pocket. We can put on the 786 as another possible target. And then we can also pull from this pivot high. Obviously this would be in about, if we have another intersection of this channel and this golden pocket, this would take place in about 10 days. So that would look like probably claiming this, and we could have another rejection. But I assume if we turn on the 382, that's going to be a pretty relevant level as well. So there's different ways you can pull fibs. I think a lot of people, obviously, from the major high to the major low, these are going to give you relevant levels. But you can pull them from these intermediary levels, and that comes into, some Elliott wave ideas and things like that. But I'm quite interested in seeing how FTM reacts in the middle of this channel, and if we can come down and hit some of the lower targets, which I have some lower targets. If we pull a fib level from here, so this pivot low to this high, you can see we held the golden pocket back in December. I had a really nice rally off of it, which I did trade as well. FTM had been very strong, but we've lost it now, and we've started backtesting the 618 as resistance. And so if we turn on the 786, which is also wrong pull, that's going to be a major level here. And so that low, if we reject from the middle of this channel, maybe we push up, that could come in the next week as well. So if we reject from the middle of this channel, that's my target for FTM. It's 87 cents area. There's some, ideas with this horizontal level where we could get an early bounce there. But what I prefer is to see us take that low, come down to the 786. And this could be a major reversal point. This plays into an Elliott wave count that I've shared on Twitter many times. And it brings us down with a final wave 5 to here. Plays into a bigger ABC correction idea. And we could rally quite hard off of that. So for any of you that follow FTM, a lot of people are blaming some of the news or the FUD around FTM for this drop. But this weakness was quite evident early on here. Like I started calling this weakness in January, and it was relative to Bitcoin. It started showing a lot of weakness. Some key levels right around here where I said if we lose these, it's likely we start pushing towards $1. Someone's asking what's the bullish scenario for FTM? Well, obviously, anything can happen. But a high time frame target for me is here for a bullish reversal, where we start seeing a change in market structure. Ultimately, the best confirmation for something like this is that on a higher time frame, we change from this bearish market structure of lower highs and lower lows, and we start flipping that market structure and putting in higher highs and higher lows from here. So that's your confirmation. But for me, I've been bearish shorting FTM all the way down here, looking for this high time frame target. So that's what I'm looking for in FTM. I think this is a really nice level. This was a nice level for a long, just for even a relief rally up to even the middle of the channel. And we got a solid bounce there. But for a higher time frame target, I'm looking into this region. 87 cents to 95 cents. You know, we always have to be wary of losing that level and just continuing down, you know, into this kind of support region around 45, 50 cents. But I think a major target here is right around 87 cents. All right, so I'm going to end it there with FTM. We'll move on to the next coin. And some of these coins, keep in mind, I don't really follow. So, you know, it's going to be some of them the first time I've looked at them. So, let's look at Luna. You know, obviously, we had this swing failure rejection of the highs. Quite a nice setup for a short. And then as we've worked down, I'll just kind of show you how this local price action has been playing out. So yeah, we had this local double top. For those of you who follow Profit Blue, I know he gave me a big shout out, and a lot of you come from there. He was calling this short. So we had a couple, so if we take from this pivot low to this pivot high, we had a nice golden pocket support zone that we saw a rally out of, which I did call again in members chat that this was a likely place to see some support come in. And then, if I remember correctly, we rejected perfectly from the 382. So we had this bounce, 382, retested the golden pocket, and then rallied back in to around the 0.5. Bitcoin doesn't really like the 0.5 as a retracement, but a lot of altcoins do, I notice. So we rejected off this, took these lows, and now, I'm not even sure what fib this is. Yeah, now it's the new 0.5, so I'll delete all these. So this is pulled from this high to this new low. We're at the 0.5. We could also pull some volume profiles just over this local price action, both after the rejection. We have a nice point of control there. Comes in. We're actually at a 382 right now to the dollar. So you'll just notice like price actions fractal, the 382, the golden pocket, that's certainly major levels. Worth noting. So we haven't tapped the golden pocket to the upside. So a possible short setup for me on Luna would be a push up at some point into this golden pocket, take these highs, and then another rejection. So that's a high area of resistance, something I'd be interested in locally for a short, around 96.2, 96.9. And then for downside targets, if we have a major rejection, which could very well happen, just delete all this. Actually, I'll leave this idea of the golden pocket rejection so we have it on the chart. I'm actually just noticing, yeah, quite a nice trend line there as well. We bounced off of to the dollar. So these trend lines are very, when you see a trend line intersect with a key fib level, this would be from here, see the golden pocket lined up with this trend line and gave a nice bounce. Even if you're just looking for scalp longs, those are always quite nice. But if we take from this low, we'll want to look at this golden pocket quite near the 382 there as well. And delete this. And you guys can let me know. There's two options that I could either do live analysis, where you see me chart everything out, or I could pre-do it and then just show it. But I think I asked in a members chat for an earlier video, and they prefer me just going through it. Yeah, so we could have this idea where we say we do push up here. we reject. We start losing this trend line. Maybe we get a little bounce off the 382. And we'd be looking to start retracing this move. Looking for some horizontal support here. Let's pull a volume profile. There's a high volume area, a high volume node here. So you could mark this out, HVN. Obviously we have a big point of control down here. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of thinking too as I'm looking at this. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a major level here around this golden pocket. Go to the daily chart. Sometimes it's nicer to see these horizontal levels. Yeah. So there's certainly some horizontal support levels here, you know. So I really like that as a target, around 66.9, 64.96. These would be some higher time frame targets to the downside if we start breaking down. I'll be watching. The best way to do it, you know, you can make your analysis. If you're in TradingView, add alert. And now you'll get an alert as price comes down to here, whatever your key levels are. Add an alert here. And the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to have your key upside levels you're interested in for shorts, your key downside levels, and then you just wait. You can do analysis on a bunch of different coins, wait for good setups. So that's Luna. I'm interested in a push up, take these highs into the golden pocket. It's a possible short. And then if we start losing these local lows, these levels down here, something to note that we're still maintaining a local bullish market structure on this time scale. We have the higher low, the higher low, the higher low, obviously higher highs. And so if we can't take this low and start changing market structure, we just have to keep in mind that we still have bullish market structure. But for me, this would be a key retracement for a further move to the downside. All right, so that's Luna. I'm going to go over some of the bigger projects, like I said first, you know, where people have a lot of interest. Then I'll get into some of the smaller ones. So we have Matic. I was trading Matic more at the highs, not so much at the lows. Quite certain this was a 0.5. Yeah. So let's get some context for where we're at. You know, let's pull a fib from this major pivot. We're hovering around the golden pocket there. From this pivot, we're exactly in the 0618 golden pocket region for a retracement. I'm assuming we have some just going to pull a couple parallel channels, see if anything looks nice. So obviously we have this idea of this descending trend line that we could be breaking out of back test. You know, this golden pocket is a major support zone. And it's not quite the best parallel channel, but we can see, you know, we are interacting with it. So we put in a low here, we put in another low, maybe we tap it again. But the thing I like about it is we get some interaction with the middle line when we draw it this way. So if we do bounce here, you know, maybe we look to push up to the middle of the channel, see if that aligns with aligns with the golden pocket resistance to the upside. So that's pulled high to low for resistance, low to high for support, but always left to right. We have to look for this level to give out. Do some trend-based fib extensions to the downside as well. Got a dog barking here. I'll shut the door just so it's a little quieter. I don't really like any of these trend-based extensions to the downside. I'm curious, you know, if there's a Elliott wave idea here. Yeah, could be something. Still a little ambitious, but yeah, well, I like this as a major support zone, frankly. There's a point of control here that we have been flirting with. We're right on it at the current moment. I'd say this is major support on Matic. Doesn't mean we can't lose it, but certainly a zone you might expect to bounce from, which we obviously have gotten to. It's worth noticing or noting, the more times you test a level for support and resistance, the more likely it is to break. So yeah, I figured that looked like a likely trend line here. You know, so you'll notice this as a repeating factor. When you have these major trend lines and they intersect with a major fib, you're likely to get a very nice bounce from there. So, you know, pulled from back here, this was a perfect touch of this trend line, this golden pocket. So always look out for that. You know, trend lines for me on their own aren't as useful as when they align with key horizontal levels, and oftentimes they can help you time an entry, because whereas horizontal levels are just stagnant in time and they run across your chart, trend lines also they operate on the price axis and the time axis. You have to realize that your chart has those two axes, right? Timing is very important, and price moves. That's where you get into like fib time and things like that. I don't know if we have any nice fib time interaction here, but I'll check. But where you start looking at, you know, key fib time pivots. Pull this down to here too. Yeah, so we have a nice 382 here, which could be a nice time pivot. We could look at some of the lower time frame pivots as well, which we'd have to zoom in on. I'm actually going to do that on the 1 hour chart. But so yeah, just like you can pull fib retracements on the horizontal axis, you can pull them on the time axis. You'll find that price likes to interact and put in pivots at key levels. So right in this zone, I'd say we have some important fib time depending on where price is at here. We have a 1618 on a lower time frame, a 0382. Yeah, so that's Matic. I think this is major support here. If we lose it, you know, we could look down to these lower levels. I mean, you know, obviously price can go to 0. Is it likely? Probably not. But if we don't get a nice bounce off here, or we can look for a more bearish move up, where we don't push up into this golden pocket. We reject at the 382. Something like that. Which, worth noting, we've already bounced up here and rejected from the 0.5. And this would have been the high. So the 0.5 and then kind of a failed 3.2. Yeah, so anyways, it depends. If you're bullish on Matic and you're looking for some potential support zones, this is a major one. All right, so I'll do ape because, you know, everyone's obviously very interested. So ape on FTX. Important to note that we don't have a lot of price history for ape. So, you know, it has quite a high market cap. It's very possible that, you know, the bottom for ape is down at $2 or $5 here. We don't really know. What we do know is we are losing some local levels of support. This is interesting as well. I don't even think this is the other, I don't think this is the ape exchange I was on earlier, because I think it bottomed out at like $6, $5. If anyone knows if there's a exchange that has deeper price history on ape, let me know. Because I was trying to do some analysis on it, and I had, you know, there's exchanges where the first price is way up here, down here. I think FTX is the oldest. So, yeah, maybe this is actually a nice target for ape. Let's see if we can find any other confluences here. This is not the exchange I was doing analysis on before, I know that. So on volume profiles, I don't have time to obviously go into how to use everything. I have some videos on that, but these value areas are important. Point of controls are important. I just like labeling them with horizontal rays. So you can see we bounced here, and now we've flipped this value area low into resistance. So certainly an important level. It's also the 0.5 fib from low to high. Definitely in a downtrend of higher lows, lower highs. I'm going to pull a parallel channel here. Yeah, if this is a relevant level, this golden pocket, kind of have this little order block here. You know, even if, I mean, anything can happen. Price could just literally the bottom drop out. But typically, price doesn't go straight down. So even if bounce here, reject. Just gonna see. I don't really like anything there. We have a high volume area down here, which we should mark out. You just have to ask yourself when you're trading a coin like ape, you know, what's your goal, right? Like, it's released, it's obviously really popular, certainly volatile, but is your goal for it to go to a $200 million, or sorry, a $200 billion market cap? It can be nice for it to settle down a little bit, come back and look at it if you're looking for longs. But if you're scalping it or willing to take profits quickly and put your stop loss to break even, there's probably some opportunities here. If we do put in a low there, I'll just see what this would look like. Yeah, that's quite nice. So we have this idea that we could put in our low here, local low, and then reverse and push back up near this point of control and golden pocket, which for those of you who know about fib extensions, which is instead of having a price retracement, you could have an extension of price. Like this would be a 1618 extension of this price action. There's another way where you'll find extensions sometimes work that I've noticed. It's not an orthodox way of using them, but essentially it's where you would say, like, I'm going to delete a lot of this just so this is more clear. Let's just imagine that price was up here and none of this had already happened. Well, you might say, what fib retracement level would make these highs that we rejected from a golden pocket? And you come down to here and you see that, oh, if price comes down to here, this makes this a golden pocket in retrospect. This happens quite a lot too, where a key level becomes a golden pocket in the future when we put in a low and we start rallying, and then you do your fib pull and you realize, oh, the golden pocket comes in around those old highs. So it's sort of like a reverse engineer of a fib extension. I notice it plays out. And then if you have this level and then you start finding other support, like our golden pocket support zone, can make it a little bit more appealing too as a level. So yeah, I guess on Ape, by the way, none of this is financial advice, but this is a nice support zone actually on this exchange anyways. I've noticed there's like quite large discrepancies in current price and pivots and all that between different exchanges right now on Ape. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Yeah, so this is Ape. Should probably be marking the ones I've done, but we'll probably remember. Let's do sand. So sand had quite a nice rejection. You know, I got a short in at the top. I closed it in retrospect too early, but I'm gonna just clean up this fib again. So let's start with a descending channel idea. So we're actually at this trend line now. We're pretty darn close. You know, this would be a little more accurate. So we broke out of it. That's it's important to make sure these are drawn accurately. You can actually hold control in TradingView and snap to the line like this, and then you can go extend right, and that will give you a more accurate trend. I pull it from here. So just, you know, for those of you familiar with this type of price action, you sometimes have a case where you break out of a downward trend and then you back test it as support. So we can watch the possibility on sand that this holds. And then we can look at some fib retracements. Let's start from this pivot low. We might go all the way down to the this absolute low. With the price action like this, you sometimes are better off to use log scale, in which case you need to change your fib setting to log as well. And my guess is on log scale, this is closer to a 382 or even a 236. And not look at this on log scale. I don't actually really like anything on it. So we always want to pull a volume profile. Okay, yeah, we have a big point of control here. So point of control is always going to act as big support when you're above it, big resistance when you're below it. So yeah, you'd want to mark that out. I think it's only available in the first tier of paid trading view, but it's a very important tool. So yeah, we want to look at this as major support, pull some fibs for major resistance. I don't consider the 236 a major level. So again, this is, so we rallied off this point of control, and then we rejected already from the 382, which also aligned with this downward channel. So here's another example of a key trend line aligning with a key horizontal level, which in this case is the 382 fib, just like we saw that happening on FTM. So when you're trading something and you see this, these are high probability setups. There was a high probability rejection idea here. Yeah, but if we can break out of this descending trend, can look back to the 382 as probably some resistance, even if we get a minor pullback, and ultimately up to the golden pocket. If we start breaking down here, you know, we have to be careful because these key, like high time frame key levels. When you lose them, you usually want to wait for them to be reclaimed to take a trade. So instead of trying to find the bottom by just longing, you could wait for these levels to be reclaimed and then look for your entries there. Yeah, so that's sand. Actually, I mean, you're going to just notice, like, the style of analysis I use works on pretty much everything. And you'll see these repeating concepts over and over again. Parallel channels, really important. Volume profiles, Fibonacci. You look for overlapping intersections between these different levels. But obviously, we can see consolidation and support coming in this zone. So it's important. It's important to hold it, and it's important to know if we flip it into resistance. Yeah, but I quite like sand here in this zone for potential long setups. All right, so let's go to Atom. By the way, I'll probably be sharing all of these charts in probably a Discord channel when I'm done, so you can scroll through and all the levels will be on there. The link for Discord, Telegram, and some affiliate links are all in the description. David Park's just saying sand's not looking good then. Well, I don't know. It's bouncing off key support. You know, this is a major potential zone for a reversal. We had this nice rally here. So, you know, here, let's look at this a little more locally too on sand, because that can be helpful. Something like this would be nice, where we back test this descending trend line into the golden pocket for a local retracement and rally. So that's around $2, 2932, 291. Yeah, I mean, so this would be a good sign that we're looking at a potential reversal. We come down here, then we push up and we start rallying. But this is definitely a key level. Where was I? Was that Atom? All right, so you guys kind of know what I'm looking for now. I'm going to power through some of this. And we'll so with this point of control here, the reason I pulled my volume profile from here, I had it pulled initially from here, is everything's so evenly distributed here. I just kind of want to know, you know, since early 2021, maybe since this rally, where the major levels of interest are. This is one. Yeah. So this is an important level. It's a point of control from here. It's the value area low from this uptrend. Oh no, still point of control. Where's the value area low maybe from here? Maybe I saw that wrong. Anyways, point of control, major level. Where did we bounce from? High to low. Initially the golden pocket again. Always probably the most important retracement level to the upside and the downside. I think this trade, this was in my alpha report back last year. I think price was around $29 or something. This was one of my key trades here that I had shared, around $21, $22, and we got a huge 100% increase from there. So we're always looking for these local channels, local trend lines, and look for some local fibs as well. But ultimately, we're bouncing from the golden pocket again. That doesn't mean to enter here, by the way. I mean, you're better off to just wait for key levels. If you were watching Adam, you would have looked to enter here. Got a nice 60% bounce. But locally, we're bouncing off of the local golden pocket. So let's pull from this low to this high, back, retracing here. If we can continue the uptrend, you know, we look for this to hold, this trend line to break, maybe we back test it, and this 3580 area, 3655 is major resistance, maybe we swing failure this, and come back down and retest the lows. You know, one thing that catches people by surprise a lot, someone's spamming Rune in the chat. I'll check it, buddy, but I can only do one at a time. So yeah, so one thing that can kind of catch you by surprise is people are always expecting price to just continue to trend in a direction. So if we're in an uptrend and they hold their positions too long, take profits, because a lot of the times you just find yourself in a range. Like here, this is a range. Just delete some of this for now. Where we've tested the lows, tested the highs, tested the lows, rejected from the middle of the range. Maybe we test the lows again. Maybe we test the highs. But you know, you can look for a breakout, but price ranging is typically what it's doing most of the time, whether it's locally or on a higher time frame. That's Adam. I think, yeah, obviously. I mean, I've already traded this golden pocket. I knew it's major support. I longed this last year, late December. We touched it again. This would be a major resistance level where you could look for a retracement. Personally, I'm not trading it here. If someone was super interested, you know, this retracement would have been nice. Maybe we'd come back and test it again. All right, on to Rune. I think this was a 786. Yeah, we rejected from the 786. Part of the reason I'm testing, looking at this old price action, is it's nice to get an idea of how Rune, what fibs it likes to interact with. 0.5 there. 0.5 there. So it does like the 0.5. All right. So the current level we're rejecting from is the 618 to the dollar from, or golden pocket to the dollar. From this pivot high, we have a 0.5 slightly above it. Point of control. We also have the value area high from the all-time high, right in this range as well. This is actually key resistance on Rune. We had some resistance levels here that I was interested in shorting, but we did push through them. I actually opened a short and then closed the short very quickly after. Yeah, I mean, I would say this is a key. This zone is key resistance for Rune. You can even see, we're getting some resistance here on a lower time frame. May get rid of some of these fib levels though, just to clean up the chart. Just pulling some fib time, just curious. Let's look at Rune on a lower time frame. Get a look at this rejection. Very clean up trend on the 1 hour. Just a beautifully tradable channel on the 1 hour. So things you can be looking for on Rune. We're just in this 1 hour uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If we are breaking down from here, who we put in that lower low? Reject like that. Or we rally off this trend again. So that's what I'd look at on Rune. Getting a rejection now from a key level, so it's important to note. A lot of confluence in this zone for a rejection, but we're looking for changes in market structure as well. It's obviously been on a bullish trend. I wouldn't be surprised to see us kind of double bottom this local low and come back and retest either the highs or a local golden pocket before further rejection. Then we can look for it to start claiming these levels if it's going to carry on. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for on Rune. Someone's saying to do cis that I won't, or wait, I'll do cis after AXC that I won't regret it. Yeah, I'm sure I won't. Actually, I think I will. Yeah. So there's nothing really to analyze here for me. I mean, it's just like straight up, right? So I don't even know what the market cap on this coin is. But if it's very low, then I don't know. Oh, I think I typed in the wrong coin. No, I didn't. Yeah, nothing to really analyze here. If it's just a low cap random coin, then you know, not much I can do here, so, sadly. But I would tell you this, I would never buy this coin here. XRP, I'll do that. So I already know XRP, you know, had this major rejection from this high time frame golden pocket back last summer. Offered a nice short. I think there was a 786 here that it rallied off of. I think it might have been from this impulse low. Yeah. So let's take this off. So this is a support fib. Obviously we can just see there's horizontal levels here. And a 786. More locally, I think we rejected from a 786 as well from this pivot high. Yeah. So again, this was a potential very nice short from this pivot. Back into the 786 here. So it's like in the 786, you know, we have some higher time frame levels here if this support holds. We could look to move up here, move here. Those are the levels I'd be watching. But a lot of times, you know, when you're analyzing, you're finding levels that are a little ways from where you are. It's not always likely that you're going to be at a key level the moment you open a chart. You set alerts at levels you're interested in trading. It's also the value area high here. I want to try pulling this from here. Yeah, point of control from the all-time high. So this is a very big level on XRP. We have the golden pocket. We have the POC. So if there's signs of a rejection here, might offer a nice short. Just reading chat for a second. All right, somebody wants CIS. Do I already have it in my list? Let's see. I don't. Is there an exchange with more price action? I guess probably KuCoin. CoinX maybe. Okay. Start with the volume profile. Keep in mind some of these low caps. I don't know what CIS's market cap is, but I gotta be a little careful. This is very similar to sand. If you remember on sand how we had this descending trend line. Let's see, probably the 382. It's almost actually identical. If this is the 382, not quite. So yeah, you have these, we broke out of this descending trend line. Maybe we backtest it. We have to be careful if we're coming down below this point of control. But this is a very low cap coin, you know, trading $100,000 a day in volume. So it doesn't take much to move price. certainly a support zone here. You know, on these more volatile low caps, you've got to give these zones some birth. But they still follow technical analysis to the upside, even if we're going to see more downside. If we can rally from this support zone, could look for the 382, golden pocket, take out these highs. It's also important just to look for key horizontal support zones. You know, clearly this is one, or resistance zones. Clearly this is one. So, you know, if I clean up this chart a little bit, key horizontal levels, you know, where we claim this support, 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 move below it, back test it as resistance. So locally, that's going to be a really important level to either claim, test this zone, claim that maybe. Okay, so I'm reading chat again. I don't know if people were asking me about ASICs, but I'm not going to answer. If they were, I'll just let them chat about it. Someone asking for Shib. I'm actually surprised I don't have that on here, but I'll add it. So this is the point of control from the all-time high. Important to note. I assume log scale could be useful here. So on log scale, yeah, we found support at the 786 here. We're bouncing off the point of control. That's an important idea, right? Where you flip and get rid of these irrelevant support fibs that we obviously didn't hold. So we bounce off the 786. We have this rally, and we're holding the point of control, which may also be a 786. It is. So yeah, a higher time frame 786, bounced off it, retested a local 786, which is also the point of control. This is an important support zone. You know, if you're interested, if someone was interested, not financial advice, there are some long setups in this area. The stop loss under the lows, which is 20% away, so you know you don't want to run a big position. But where are our primary targets? We haven't quite hit the 382 yet. I want to look at these targets not on log scale. Something like that would be somewhat reasonable. We haven't hit the 382 yet. I mean, obviously, some strength needs to come into the market, right? I'd take profits before that if I was in a long, but that would be a primary target. But we can see, you know, there is a shift happening in this downtrend, so that's something you're always looking for. We're in a kind of a relentless downtrend. And now we start putting in some signs of a bottom, right, where we're consolidating along these lows, along this key level, which isn't a surprising level to be at. We have some support fibs, point of control now, and it's obviously the lows of this little consolidation before we rallied initially. So we basically came back and retraced the entire rally, which is also somewhat common. Always important to pull these key support flips, horizontal levels. So you can see resistance, it held as support for a little bit, back tested, came flirted with it, lost it, we're back into support. So you want to watch that as a key level. Then you could draw some out up here as well. Alright, so that's Shib. Someone asking for KDA, happy to do that. It was requested a few times on Twitter as well. Let's start with the volume profile. I'll pull it from here. Again, we're at the point of control. Not surprising. We've spent a lot of time down here. You know, this is a very key level. Consolidating here, it doesn't mean price will go up. It's just, you know, a nice level for reversal. How much has price moved up here? 3,000%. So when you have like multiple thousands of percent move, it's not a bad idea to use log scale. So on log scale, this is a 382 retracement. Quite bullish if we can hold this for another rally to the upside. Certainly some key levels here. Go off log scale for the local price action. All right. Yeah, so you could do a couple things. You could mark this level as the POC. You could mark this area as the log 382 because it's not going to show up when you switch off of log scale. If we do rally from here, I mean, always, looking for support to give out. I mean, obviously KDA is down like 80%. If we rally from here, it's a nice level. I mean, I'll just say, I think it is a nice level. We could range here. We could even take the lows. But if we start rallying, obviously looking to 382 as resistance, looking to the golden pocket. This is also a key horizontal level. You can see that. With this support resistance flip here, where price came down, held this level as support, back tested as resistance. We back tested it here, rallied through it, lost it, resistance, and then carried on. So if levels like any level, but like a level like this, it's support when you're above it. If you lose it and back test it, you're expecting lower. If you can claim it, but as soon as you lose it, you can trade around these horizontal levels. So I'd say for KDA on a higher time frame, this $13 level is very key if you can claim it or not. Not much to say otherwise. I mean, we're at support here. Seem to be holding it all right. This local range is, there's 60% of price action here, so unsurprisingly, locally, this last rally rejected from the golden pocket, this high to this low. So we had Go from the point of control of 45% rally right into the golden pocket rejection. So this analysis that I'm using on the higher time frame, you can use it on the lower time frames as well. And hopefully you guys can become comfortable with that, start doing your own analysis. I'm sure many of you already do. If you want to become a member, actually the link's not in the description. Go into Discord and you can find it there. I'll be doing more, probably daily members updates on different trades I'm interested in, market analysis, similar stuff to this, a little more honed in on a couple specific coins. Yeah, so KDA also might want to pull the volume profile here for some local levels. Under the local point of control, under this bigger one. Just gonna look for, you might look to test the lows again. It's hard for me to say too on coins I don't really trade, but I think it looks pretty good here. Alright, what am I got a lot of requests. Look at Sol. I'm just going to turn down my volume so you don't hear my alerts. And just quickly checking Discord because somebody's putting in a request in there as well. All right, somebody just asking for Pyre. Yeah, I'll do that next. Not quite the 786 there. Trying to kind of find a parallel channel with a trend angle that I think looks nice. Sometimes they're not so clear. Might have to go to log scale here. Let's start with the volume profile just over everything. So there's a lot of high volume areas. I won't mark, well, I will mark them all out because it's quick. You can just hold control to duplicate a line on TradingView. This can be renamed point of control, but I won't bother right now. And I'll even put this one because it's relevant. So you could market all these high volume areas, especially just when they're so clearly defined like this versus other areas on the chart. Get some key resistance. Something I'd usually do if I'm trading a coin is I do Elliott wave analysis on it, but I'm not going to do Elliott wave counts today on 40 coins because it's next to impossible. I think on Sol could benefit from more local analysis. Yeah, so we have this descending channel idea. I'm going to clear this line out of the way. Yeah, so that's quite nice, that trend line. I imagine it's a major fib level, quite close to the golden pocket. Might be the 382, yeah. So this is something we've seen a few times already, where this descending trend line matches perfectly with the 382 retracement from this high to this low. These types of intersections offer great short opportunities, or if they happen on the downside, long. So the way I look at Sol right now is we're in a descending channel. You know, we can maybe expect to test the middle of it at least if we can break out of it, or here, or we rally and we just push through it. But that's kind of the local price action I'd be looking at. Is we're rejecting from this downward trend for a third time, an intersection of the 382 and the parallel channel. And yeah, we'll see if kind of the support zone holds. But I'm mostly interested in how this local price action plays out, because if we can start rallying, we might see some nice movement up if we can break out of this downward local trend on this 1 hour chart. We could look at it on a 4 hour chart. Obviously, golden pocket, 382, major fib levels. If you're not familiar with fibs, I'd really suggest you start learning how to use them, because they are amazing. Let me just pull open Discord. What was the one they wanted? Pyre. I think he said, he told me the exchange to use, KuCoin. Oh, that's the Bitcoin chart. See, you're gonna notice a lot of similarities between all these coins. Back near a major point of control. I'll notice on this move up, you know, obviously we didn't spend a lot of time there, so very low volume. Let's just pull one over this local range as well. Just want to see what the difference is. You know, the only way you can kind of come up with like really ambitious targets in my mind is doing Elliott wave counts. For me, like looking at a coin like this, it's like, yeah, it could go to $800. Who knows? But it's better just to analyze local price action if you're looking for longer term positions. Identify support, and then, you know, take some profits reasonably. Let some of the position run if you're really bullish. I'm sure we're going to see so right now we're under this point of control, rejecting from it. But we have another point of control below us. You can see price action's been interacting with this level. Support, support, support. This is a 4 hour chart. Support, support, support. Resistance, support, support, support. We lost it, back tested it, reclaimed it, rallied off it, rejected from it. So, you know, just locally, I'm sure this is quite a high percentage, about 15% in here. You know, these are your two major levels locally. We're breaking out of a descending trend. So there's an idea where we come back and back test this level one more time, the point of control, back test this descending trend line. Maybe we get a more convincing rally from there, or we lose it and we continue down, or one of a million other things happens. But these are the kinds of things I'd look for. Excuse me. I will do ETH. I think we're making good progress, though. We've covered a lot of coins. I have a lot of analysis on ETH, but I'm just going to refresh some of it here. So one of the things, I'm just going to answer a quick question. Someone said, why do I pull fibs from up to down in reverse? I'll explain this quickly and briefly. For support, a fib is pulled left to right, low to high. Okay, so low, like let's say I want a local one, this low to this high. That's a support fib. Resistance is high to low. They give you different levels, so it's important to pull them properly. All right, so on ETH, I'll just say I may be wrong. I'm quite bullish on ETH. Part of that is because of my analysis on the ETH USDT or BTC pair. Applicable robot. I'm sure have you seen all of that already? I don't know if you're in the Discord. I've shared it quite a few times, so I won't necessarily go over it. But you know, we have some local resistance that we need to claim and recover. We have obviously been breaking out against Bitcoin. Yeah, just locally. Can look at these volume profiles for support. Pull support here. It's not impossible that we come down and we test. Delete this. You know, even come back and test the lows of the range, or reject and carry on down. But this is a major level, the 382, and we can even see it. I'll go to the 4-hour chart as a major horizontal. You can just draw it across here, where you can see price rejecting, 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 flirted with it here, rejected from it again, rejected from it again, claimed it. Now if we can back test it as support again, that'd be more bullish. If we lose it, we can expect lower maybe. I just want to see, we have some higher time frame support horizontals that are really key on Ethereum as well. So obviously we rejected from this level. This level is quite important, which aligns with what I just shared. Kind of a zone. Might be better just to go from the closes instead of the wicks. This is a key horizontal as well, where it was resistance, and we flipped to support. But anyways, I'm not going to go over all my high time analysis here on ETH, but I will say I'm bullish. I think if we start losing some of these local levels and the BTC ETH pairing starts bleeding, I might have to adapt some of that analysis. But overall, bullish, expecting a local retracement here. Very interested in the 382 as a key level on ETH. I'm sure there's I think there is an ascending trend line here that could be interesting. Not that interesting. I'll clear off some of these lines. ETH really plays well with trend lines, so they're always important to keep on your chart. Obviously, I'm not surprised this trend line broke because it's just parabolic, right? But yeah, again, just look for local signs of weakness. You know, maybe we retrace here, maybe we push up and then retrace, or maybe we put claim up. High time frame, bullish on ETH. Link. I don't know if I have that on here already. Actually, I might need to pull this up on Binance because I don't think Link's been on Bybit for very long. My exchange of choice is Bybit. Feel free to use my link in the description if you want to give it a try. If you already have an account, it's quite easy to create a new one. I am starting a I'm waiting for a good trade setup, but I'm starting a event where once a week I trade $50 on 50x leverage, and I draw somebody who's joined with one of my affiliate links on Bybit, KuCoin, or Bitfinex, and give whatever I make or lose to them. All right, let's go link. I might do a couple more here, and then maybe wrap it up. It's pretty dense analysis here. Okay, you were on vacation. Maybe I'll highlight some of the ETH analysis I've shared. I've been bullish from the lows. There's some high time frame ideas where it's possible Ethereum is breaking out against Bitcoin to possibly make a new all-time high, or at least a new all-time high against Bitcoin. That's kind of one of the ideas I have running right now. So we had really nice fib interaction on Link. These fib levels are pulled from this initial low here. So high to low. I was just checking to see what kind of interaction we got. So we pushed up, perfect rejection from the golden pocket, perfect rejection from the 382. And we're obviously still in a local downtrend here. Big point of control. I'm going to pull more local. Two local. Point of control is the same. And a very local. Yeah. And we're rejecting from the point of control here. So just in terms of the rejections we've been getting, very technical. Golden pocket, 382. Even here locally, we're seeing resistance at the point of control. As far as support zones go, I'm sure there's exchanges with older price action. I don't even know how old Link is. I thought it was older than this. I'm going to look at the 886. So we're bouncing off the 886. You know, we could look for this idea that we've swung failured this low. Actually, even this low. Maybe we call that a key horizontal. I mean, it won't come as a surprise that we're in support zones on a lot of alts because everything's just been bleeding like crazy. You could do a couple things. You know, if you're just looking for a long-term bag to build with Link or anything, and you have a lot of confidence in the project or whatever it is, yeah, you could look to accumulate some spot positions here, and maybe you do just say like, hey, I'll throw out the bag if price retraces and we lose these levels, or I'll just hold it because I believe in the project so much. But one thing you could do is, this is a support zone. You know, you could use this local low as a stop loss, or you could wait for a change in market structure. So right now, on pretty much every time frame, we're making lower highs, lower lows. You could wait for even just locally a change in market structure. So go to the 1 hour chart, you know, maybe wait for this high to be taken, and then wait for a lower, you know, buy a retrace on a lower high, higher low, something like this on the 1 hour on Link. Like this, and then, you know, maybe we come in and we put in a higher low on a reverse golden pocket or 382, and that could be an entry, and because you're starting to see possibly a change in market structure from this support zone. I might pick a couple of these coins to do higher time frame Elliott wave analysis. You know, a couple little things you could do. Some trend-based fib extensions. Those weren't pulled properly. I'll fix them. Here, here, and here. So yeah, this is a key extension. So when price action was up here, you could have pulled high, low, high, gotten this 1618 extension to the downside, And this could have been, you know, right around here, major target. I'm not going to try to do an Elliott wave count on Link here, but you know, I know it's a major project. We're in a support zone. You could start looking at CVD divergences, open interest, that sort of thing to get some more information. But the key levels I'd be looking at, very similarly to as I've done before, this major golden pocket, which also is the 1-to-1 fib extension to the downside. Possibly a high volume area. Nope, but this is. Which is probably... So I'll clean this up a little bit just to make it more clear. I imagine, like let's just say we price on Link pushes up to this golden pocket. By the time it does, a lot more volume will have shifted down here, so the point of control will be a little lower. If you start rallying, like I said, maybe we put in this local higher high, retrace. These would be major targets. All right, that's Link. Just for fun. Also don't want to ignore this channel here, which this week, if we do rally, you'll want to look for the intersection between the trend line, the 618 as a possible rejection, around $16.40. You know, that'd be around March 6th, March 7th. Then maybe we retrace, and maybe we do put in that higher low and then break out of the downward trend the following week. So yeah, locally, those are some ideas on Link. Similar 15% up. And then, you know, maybe you do see move down 20% into this $13 region again. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm saying, you know, I'd set alerts here. I'll set one now because I actually am interested. I'll set one down here. These would be two possible trades on Link. Right, I'll do a quick scroll through to make sure I haven't missed anything. Someone's asking for LSS. Never heard of it. Let's see. If it's a brand new coin. I'm going to say something too. With these coins that are like, they released, they ran up 7 million%. And now they've just been bleeding that whole rally all the way. You know, like there's no downside fibs here. You know, upside fibs if we rally are important. But probably the most important thing to look for is a change in market structure. You could start looking for longs on a local change in market structure. Key horizontals. This is an important one. Somewhere around there. This is actually a very important one. Let's see, resistance. Not great interaction here. We flipped this to support, and that's where we initiated this huge rally. It acted as support here, support, resistance. And then here, this old high is being flipped to resistance. So I don't know what the market cap is on this coin, but maybe it can just keep bleeding down, test these lows. So the thing I'd be looking for if I was looking for a long is a local change in market structure. And that could be, you know, maybe start with a flip of this support and then even a back test of it. That could be an entry, something like that. And then higher time frame, high to low, 382 and the 618 are always important levels. A lot of these coins have quite clean downtrends. So this is one you could say. A lot of times, like, this isn't a breakout, but what this trend line can tell you is that, like, a coin can only go down so much so quickly before it's got a that trend needs to slow down a bit. So sometimes you can just look for the trend to be consolidation to start when this trend line's broken, just because it's too parabolic, right? So we do have another trend line here that we're touching the top of. If you go from this high to this low, we're rejecting. It's intersecting with the key horizontal here. So the way I trade and how I would consider anything I'm looking at is I'd find these key levels. If they're being claimed, I might look for longs. I might look to put my stop loss under the lows. Just let it play out. Always use proper risk management, position sizing. You know, the whole market's just been bleeding, so we're starting to see some potential signs of reversal on some projects. But, you know, earlier this whole year, we've been in a major downtrend. You know, shorts have been the play. So, you know, maybe that will change in the later half of this year. Someone's asking for JASMY. Maybe we'll end on JASMY. Or JASMY. Whatever it is. I don't know if this is the oldest exchange. I'll go to one of the I'll go to KuCoin just to see if it's been in there longer. I'd just be looking at support resistance flips here. We didn't quite touch it there, but you can see support, 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 lost it. You know, see how price interacts here. And obviously, any coin that's just rallying, people are interested in. This is, you know, it's up 300% in the last week, with going through a retracement. To the upside, you can have your major fibs, 382, the golden pocket. Could look at some local price action. Go to the 4 hour. Let's say that this rally is going to sustain itself, or maybe even just push up to this support resistance flip. You know, you might look for a local retracement into this level for possible entry. But coins like this are kind of hard, not hard to analyze so per se, but you know, we essentially are just, we put in an all-time low. You could maybe look at a trend-based fib extension. Maybe we get some nice levels there. Not from there. And certainly wouldn't be from here because it's just too far down. One more level I could check. Yeah, nothing really. So, it's kind of hard to analyze because it's just like it's a newer project. The coin bled down into price discovery region. It's the same thing as if it was the all-time high. Just like it's in price discovery. Now it's rallying. I don't know anything about the project fundamentally. Maybe some news came out, but you could look to these upside levels of resistance. You could look for some local retracements, but it's kind of hard to do high time frame analysis on a coin like this. If I was long, I'd certainly be looking at this as a major resistance level. It's very possible that we're kind of creating a support resistance flip here. We had a bit of consolidation. So maybe this is another resistance zone if we can claim it. But yeah, it's really all I would have to say on this, frankly. Just trying to think. And I'm sure there's some trend line ideas here. Yeah, you could claim that this breakout looks like it kind of started off this, breaking this downward trend, and then back testing it. So this would be like a bump and run type setup. Usually you have 3 touches of the highs, but so that's where you have this descending trend line. We break out of it, and we back test it as support, and that's the impulse for the rally. So you can always look for that. It's very common to see a trend line break, get back tested as support, and then an impulse for a rally. That's kind of what happened here. But you're either watching a project or you're not, right? So if you're very interested in something, maybe you have this analysis ready to go, you see that setup and you take it, or you have no idea that this project even exists until it rallies 400%. Someone's saying it's on Bittrex with a longer price history. So it is. All right. I mean, when I see stuff like this, I assume something happened and they like added a ton of supply, or I don't really know. But let's go to log scale. I mean, I can't really even. Kind of hard to even include any of this into anything relevant because it essentially just dropped straight down 99.5%. I don't know anything about the project either. That could help explain that. Could look at some log fibs here locally. But this is nice because we're not in all-time low territory anymore. So we do have some consolidation here. Thanks, by the way, for letting me know an exchange with deeper price history. Yeah, so this kind of makes more sense that we're rallying off of just this horizontal support. We took out the lows of this initial rally. Still have those setups I was describing earlier. But yeah, so anytime you come down, price comes down to these like high time frame consolidation lows before a massive impulse, where price rallied thousands of percent, 2,000%, and then retraced 96%. It's not surprising that we're getting some kind of rally off of this level. Yeah, so this is my other analysis still applies. I would actually pull a golden pocket / fib retracement from this level. These support resistance flip zones still important. I'll redraw these because when I'm done a little later, I will share all these charts so you can review them. I'll clean this one up a little bit later and draw some squiggly lines on it, but yeah, looks good. This makes way more sense than the other chart for, you know, where this impulse triggered off of. Which is, you know, what I was saying before, like, ideally I'm not just going to make stuff up. If I don't have anything to go off of, can't even find an extension level, I'll just say, like, man, I can't really analyze this meaningfully. But with this information, this rally looks a lot more reasonable. Someone's asking for ICP. Internet coin protocol. I don't know. Something like that. This is one of the projects that people were really excited about at launch, right? And then it's just imploded. This is probably the future of ApeCoin. Just kidding. What the hell? Right, so it opened at $3,000. I think I knew that about ICP, I just didn't remember. That was a 786-ish. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to analyze ICP locally here. I don't know why it was at $3,000 and why it's now at $16. I kind of thought I've heard enough about it that I thought it was a somewhat legitimate project, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I focus on technical analysis. Alright, so we need to watch this descending trend line. I imagine this coin wouldn't mind the 0.5. Could look for, there's this interaction between oh, this descending trend line. That's a little sloppy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just wait for this downtrend to, you know, to maybe claim this, put in some higher lows, backtest it, something like that. Otherwise, we're just kind of bleeding into, oh, don't want to go there, into all-time low territory. So yeah, I just wait for a sign of strength. I mean, on the daily chart here, just in a kind of a relentless downtrend still. So, you know, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher low, lower low, lower low. Maybe we put in another lower high, another lower low, another lower high, another lower low. We're waiting for this to, maybe this is a higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we get some market structure change. That's what I'd wait for. And then when that happens, if this is it, then you pull some fibs to this new higher high, and you look for, you know, a key retracement level that could align with some fibs. You know, maybe there's volume profiles involved. But for now, I mean, I wouldn't be interested in just buying something that's in such a massive downtrend, at all-time lows, no signs of strength. This descending channel is somewhat interesting. Could be drawn like this. But yeah, hopefully that answers your ICP question. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, of course, let me know. If you enjoyed it, I guess like it, or I don't really know what you do with live streams. Relatively new to YouTube. I'll try to do more content, you know, on a regular basis. Probably not all live streams. Sometimes I'll just focus on a couple things I'm interested in and have a little bit more in-depth analysis on fewer projects. But yeah, hopefully this was useful or helpful for you guys to see me go through a ton of projects like this. And it might take me an hour or so, but I'll upload all these charts into the Discord. Yeah, well, leave feedback if you have any questions. I'll try to get to it in the future. And this was fun. Enjoyed it. Okay. Have a good day, everyone. I'll chat.